All right, y'all. Yo, so funny y'all that was just watching my live stream, man. I technically opened up my stream to let anybody in want to talk movies. And yeah, some jackass just came in with some very disrespectful shit. And I had to go ahead and delete my last stream. So my mistake. I will never be opening uh my account to let anybody in unless it's somebody I've probably already watched on YouTube before, because I've never had that happen on any of my streams ever. But it was my fault. It was a rookie mistake, and I definitely won't be opening the. I won't be sharing my link as far as letting anybody in again. Um, yeah, I've never seen nothing like that before. I'm not even like mad about it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The guy said he's gonna report the stream. I literally just had to delete it like a second ago. So anyway, man. Um, so if you're looking at the title, then yeah, you already see what's up. That's why I said did that just happen? So I might have to change my title again. Just kind of give me a second here. So yeah, rookie mistake, man. That's my fault. I definitely won't be doing that anymore. Anywho, um, so I had a different title for the stream, but I think this one kind of helps too. Why superhero movies aren't the same anymore. So yeah, man. Superhero movies just aren't what they used to be when it comes to just movies, because a lot of people have a lot of people have started to fall off, or they've been falling off after Avengers Endgame, and they're just not as hip to these films as they used to be. You understand what I'm saying? Like um the latest film we just got, people ain't been feeling it. You understand what I'm saying? Fantastic for first steps. uh Before that, you had Thunderbolts. I did not like Thunderbolts. I sat through Thunderbolts, I just couldn't get through it. Before Thunderbolts, you had, what came before Thunderbolts? Captain America: Brave New World. Captain America: Brave New World went through a lot of changes. There was a lot of money spent on it, and it just it didn't hit the way people thought it would. I think Marvel even came out and said because he didn't have the OG Captain America, Chris Evans, that's why the movie didn't do good, which I feel like is a slap in the face to Anthony Mackie. So, you know, is what it is. Anybody coming in, please hit that like and subscribe button. So, like I said, rookie mistake. So I'm having to kind of redo the stream. It is what it is. I didn't have really anybody here watching. Just had to delete the whole damn thing. So, it's my fault. I can't let anybody in the stream. So it is what it is. Anyway, aside from all that, like I said, when it comes to these superhero films, they just haven't been hitting. Superman for me wasn't my cup of tea. I thought it was I don't know, it was just too goofy, too stupid. There just was nothing about the film that I felt like was just my cup of tea that made me want to, see more of it. Um, I'd be okay if, like, I don't know, it went in like a more like serious direction. Give me a sec. Little stuffed up right now. So if I sound funny, you know why. So, like I said, if it went to a more serious direction and they got him in a better suit, I would be cool with that. But what we got, honestly, just didn't. It wasn't for me. So, I saw it didn't really do the numbers that it was. I guess the numbers that people expected it to do to try to beat the Man of Steel. But maybe it did the numbers that James Gunn and them wanted it to do, so they could push it to get the sequel. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things we really didn't get when it came to the Man of Steel. So with the new Superman film, excuse me, it looked like it's gonna get a sequel. With the Man of Steel, it didn't really get a sequel. I guess you can kind of say Batman versus Superman was a sequel, but I'm saying as far as him in the movie where it was just him. First film was great. The Batman vs Superman film was cool. As far as like as far as like you know, I'm trying to think of something else. As far as this Superman film, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, going forward from that, on the Marvel side of things, when you look at what we got when it came through with phase, what is it? Phase, what is it? With the phases we've gotten since Avengers Endgame, I'm gonna put it like that. They just haven't been all that. Um, they just haven't been all that interesting. You understand what I'm saying? They haven't been all that interesting, and the current phase that we in, this is phase 6, and this is how you kinda know it hasn't been all that interesting. Me personally, I haven't even really kept up with all the phases when it came to the MCU. You understand what I'm saying? So, it is on that note. It is what it is on that note. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, anybody that I do know, I'll put it like this, or anybody that I'm familiar with, uh, I'll definitely put the link in. But anybody I don't know, anybody that looks suspect, I definitely won't be letting anybody in. That's definitely my rookie mistake. So, with that being said, man, with that being said, let's jump into what the phases are when it comes to phase 6. Kind of bear with me here. Let me see, Marvel phase 6. So if we get into Marvel phase 6 here, um, okay, here we are, Marvel phase 6. Oops. All right, so Marvel phase 6. Let's see here. Let's see here. So anybody that I'm cool with, do know, go ahead and jump in if you want to. I just had some jackass put some very disrespectful shit on my stream. Said he was gonna report it. I actually had to delete the whole damn thing. So that's why your boy is back doing it over again. But I'm trying to bring up this screen so you can actually see what I'm talking about here. Let's see here. So Marvel Phase 6 right here. So Marvel Phase 6, as you can see here on the screen. Yep, bingo. This is the current phase we in, y'all. If any of y'all have forgotten or haven't been keeping up, and as you can see, the first movie in this new phase is Fantastic Four: The First Steps. I like the suits. I still need to watch this movie, but I do like the suits. And then, of course, I wouldn't consider this obviously part of the phase because it's something of it's its own thing. As of Wakanda, I did watch, I did enjoy it, but of course, that's its own thing. Same thing with Marvel Zombies, and then of course you get down here to Wonder Man. And I don't know anything about Wonder Man, but it says Hollywood actor Simon Williams is thrust into the world of superheroes as he gets powers of his own and becomes the new superhero Wonder Man. I believe there was a trailer maybe like last year, the year before, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I don't know what this is. So then, of course, you get down to the Punisher. Cannot wait for this. I believe John Bartho is actually directing an episode or two. And then, of course, you got Daredevil's Born Again season 2. Cannot wait for this. And then you get down to Vision Quest, and I don't think there's been any news about Vision or anybody heard from or anything about Vision since. What was the last time we heard about Vision? Yeah, what was the last time anybody heard about Vision? Was it WandaVision? It had to be. And then of course you get down to brand new day, Spider-Man brand new day, and then Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So yeah, I was curious if this movie came out before or after. So I guess it leads right into Avengers Doomsday. So yeah, that's our phase 6. And quite honestly, in my personal opinion, uh, I don't know. On a scale from 1 to 10, my interest for it is probably at a 5. I'm not super excited or super interested in what Marvel has been doing lately, or what Marvel was bringing to the table, because they just I don't know. It's just something about Marvel. They just kind of like fell off a little bit, and I want to see him succeed. But so far, they just haven't really brought anything to the table that has brought super exciting. I do not care for Thunderbolts. I thought that Captain America: Brave New World was okay, and I have yet to see Fantastic Four: First Steps. As far as as far as the future films, TV shows, we'll have to wait and see. Because, like I said, with the future film and TV shows outside of Daredevil and I would say WandaVision, almost everything was, you know, okay to kind of end. And the problem was, Marvel takes these comic books and when they make them into TV shows instead of, integrating them into the phase of the MCU, they chop the comic book down or chop the story down so much that they've been making these things into what 4 or 5 episodes and maybe 6 episodes, and it just hasn't been super exciting because of the simple fact that excuse me, super stuffy. It just hasn't been super exciting simply because it takes off too much of the story. You understand what I'm saying? It takes away too much of the story. So, you know, uh and it sucks. And it sucks. It really does, man. It really, really does that they gotta cut down so much to make it fit the Disney Plus MCU model. And it's like if you can't tell a whole entire season, then don't do it. Aside from that, um, when it comes to the DC side of things, actually let me check it out. Let me check it out. Because the DC slate has changed a lot as well. And I know we're in the gods and monsters era. You understand what I'm saying? We're in the gods and monsters era, so I'm trying to see where we at. Because I know the slate has changed since whatever was first announced. So I'm trying to see. And it's like I don't know if it's um James Gunn's doing or who. But let me check this out. Let me check this out. Let me check this out. So I'm gonna share this with you real quick. Like I said, anybody coming in wonder why I'm streaming again? I just had some jackass jump in with some very disrespectful shit that he said he was gonna report. So I actually had to delete my whole stream I just did, which is only about a half hour, and then bring it back. So as we can see, let me see, make sure y'all can see this too. It says sharing, so make sure y'all can see it. Yep. This is a re-announced DCU movie in James Gunn's rebooted DCU, and it does take it all the way up to like June 10th. So this is from last month. I believe this is the most updated. So Chris, you already got Superman that already came out. And then, of course, after that, you got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and I believe Peacemaker, is following after Superman. And this one right here is kind of like up in the air because of how her character came into the Superman film at the end. It does make me wonder how is her character going to be in her own film. Is it going to be like this raunchy humor? I highly doubt she's going to have the same uh feels as Superman. You understand what I'm saying? So I do wonder about this new. I don't know if she's new, but the new actress or who's going to be the new Supergirl going into the DCU. So aside from that, you got Clayface coming out September 11th, 2026. When is Supergirl? Supergirl comes out in June. Okay. So you got Supergirl coming out September 11th, 2026. I don't really understand why we're getting this. My only reason I can kind of see why we're getting this is because James Gunn is trying to pivot away from Batman a little bit. Um, because, we still got the current Batman going on, Robert Pattinson. And since he's not going to be the Batman moving into the DCU, he has to kind of pivot away from, the Batman in the DCU and focus on something else. So this one here is newly, announced, obviously, and then of course you have Dynamic Duo, which I don't think this is. This is new to me. What is this before? So yeah, this is something different. I believe this is gonna be like a not animated, but like almost like a doll type, animation type show. So should be interesting. And then, of course, you have the Authority. I forgot all about this. It feels like something out of the Eternals. After that, you got Teen Titans. I still don't really understand this one at all because it still feels like why would you have Teen Titans and you didn't even have the Justice League established yet? And then, of course, at some point, you got the Brave and the Bold. So, we'll figure out. We got Damian Wayne. That's his name. Okay, yeah, Damian Wayne and Batman. And then after that, Swamp Thing. I think this one got shelved with your Sergeant Rock. I don't know anything about Beth Bane and Deathstroke. I didn't know they were getting their own films. And I know instead of having Wonder Woman, I think we're gonna get the the Themyscira TV show, and then I believe Wonder Woman sometime after, because I believe that James Gunn did come out and say something about that on Twitter. So I know we're getting Wonder Woman eventually. He's not sure when. Let's see what this is. Let's see. Wonder Woman arrival in the DC will happen on the big screen, as it should. In October 2023, Variety reported that Gal Gadot will not be returning as the heroine of Themyscira, which we already know. And this new development about the DCU's Wonder Woman reboot further cements it. Given that the script is still being written, it remains to be seen how Wonder Woman will be introduced in the wider DCU and how it will connect to Paradise Lost. That's the name of the TV show. I forgot all about that. So, yeah, these are the projects that we are getting going into the future of the DCU. And I know that James Gunn did come out and say, that, each movie is going to have its own flavor. So even though Superman was goofy, the other stuff could be somewhat serious, maybe horror. I believe Clayface is going to be a horror type thing. I don't know about Supergirl, so we're going to have to wait and see what that is. We've only seen her on TV shows as far as, I forgot the chick who last played her. I believe her name was Bennett or something like that, Benoit or something like that, who played her recently. So, we'll just have to kind of wait and see going forward. But yeah, I'm not super excited for what the road ahead is looking for the DCU. I hope that James Gunn, he continues to put his best foot forward. Like I said, the Superman film wasn't my cup of tea. You understand what I'm saying? But we'll just have to wait and see. As far as Supergirl, like I said, it's another wait and see. Clayface, I never been a big Clayface fan. Even when I watched him in the cartoons, I was never a Clayface fan. So, you know, hopefully things will be, uh, you know, hopefully things will improve. I'll just to me, I was just more of a DCEU fan, but not of everything. I actually started to slide, uh, kind of started to slide downhill when it came to the DCEU movies. The closer they got to the end of it, because it was kind of like, since a new universe was getting started, I didn't feel like there was any reason for me to invest in the DCEU. Um, I didn't watch any of the Shazam movies. I didn't watch the last Aquaman movie, which I heard was terrible. And what else came out? I didn't check out. I didn't check out the Emancipation Proclamation of Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey film. Didn't see that. But yeah, there was a handful of movies in the DCEU I didn't watch because I just feel like I didn't need to commit to them since we knew we're getting to a new universe. And so far, I mean, it's off to an okay start depending on who you ask. Some people will probably say it's a bad one because of the movie Superman not making the same amount of money as the Man of Steel or more. It made less. So and it's already out on digital. I believe because James Gunn said something about it tying into Peacemaker season 2, which we'll definitely check out and probably review the first episode. So, you know, like I said, anybody jumping in, man, anybody checking this out, I had to redo the stream. Like I said, I had some jackass come in with some literally fucked up video, and that was my mistake from being a rookie and letting anybody in. So I definitely won't be doing that anymore unless I'm familiar with you, man. No sorries, I just won't be letting anybody in the stream anymore. So don't take it personally, man. I just can't handle bullshit on here because this is something I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to build, and I can't be having no bullshit, go down. So moving forward, that's just the way I'm gonna handle it. So anyway, uh, like I said, just jumping back and forth here when it comes to Marvel and DC. Like I said, I want to see DC do great because I want to see them light a fire in the Marvel's eyes. If I say it many a times, so that Marvel can up their game. Marvel kind of has just been just I don't know, doing their own thing. They haven't had no competition. And I really want to see DC really build themselves up to show that they can be competition, even though they're years behind because they're just starting off. But I'm hoping that James Gunn has a plan, knows what he's doing. He's not going to just greenlight everything. But like I said, when it comes to some of these things like Clayface, Teen Titans, I don't understand it. You understand what I'm saying? Because why would you have Teen Titans before you have the Justice League? You understand? Like I would love to see Static Shock back on the big screen. Well, not back on the big screen, but I love to see Static Shock on the big screen. I grew up with him watching TV shows during my teenage years, and I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch. That was really my first introduction to Static was watching the TV show. So I really hope that somehow, some way, James Gunn and the OG, uh, you know, creators or who are still tied to the character can get Static Shock into the DCU. I think that'd be really cool. So, like I said, anybody definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Uh, like I said, I had to redo the stream like a jackass. I jumped in and there some disrespectful shit on here. Said they was gonna report the stream, so actually I really just had to delete the whole damn thing. But it is what it is, man. I had to redo it. I'm not upset. Fuck it. It's my rookie mistake for just letting anybody in. So I definitely will be making that mistake again. So in case I'm familiar with you, just know I ain't gonna let anybody in the stream because I'm trying to get this shit right. I'm trying to grow this shit. Right now my views are really low. My watch hours are dropping. It sucks, but it's just part of the game. I'm grateful for everybody that watches my channel, that supports my channel. I got a couple videos dropping around, just basically reaction videos. I got one where I talked about, not talked about, but I watched the intro to the new Peacemaker, and then I've also got the Halloween video game uh, that's out there too. So those will be up tomorrow. So definitely please check those out. Like I said, I'm at least trying to drop at least 1 to 2 videos per day, Monday through Friday, and then weekends I'll be chilling, and then unless something happens and some news, then I'll be bringing it up, and then Thursdays I'll be streaming. So I'll try and stream a little sooner, maybe sometime in the future. But right now, 10 o'clock is my time. But I'm grateful for everybody that supports my channel, watches my videos. I appreciate it. Watches my stream. So anyway, back into the big topics. Um, what else can we talk about here? I'm trying to think of something else. The Rippaverse. The Rippaverse. They officially have their first official speedster. And I guess we could take some time to check out that trailer. Let me bring this up. Excuse me if I sound stuffy, man. Something hit me last night, and I've not been able to shake it ever since. And it's just gotten crazier and crazier. So let's check this out. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to bring this up. Let's see here. The Rippaverse. Hopefully it sounds good. Let me see. Speedster. Speedster. So let me see if I can bring this up. The Rippaverse Speedster. Kind of bear with me here so I can try and find it. I know they just released a new trailer for one of their other characters. I can't even think what the character's name is because I really have kind of fell off a little bit with the Rippaverse. All the comic books that I actually had I ended up selling because I just wasn't all that interested. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't really all that interested. So I ended up selling the comics and just kind of decided to move forward. So I think one of the ones I'm looking for I actually found. So let me bring this up real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Uh, so let's see here. Let's see here. Tell them. So let me see if I can bring this up. Like I said, excuse me if I found Steffi. Let's see. Share the screen. So this here is
Is your bag, sir?
basically the new Flash.
My name is Zephyr Arlen, and I'm doing something stupid. My family, we've got a secret, and I've never been allowed to attend normal school before now because of it. Mom and Dad say high school can be a bit of a culture shock, but how bad can it really be? After all, getting up to speed is something I do best. I know they're worried, but I can be careful. Only time will tell if this is the worst idea ever. Oh, sparks and bolts! Or the very best idea ever. I can't help but wonder, though, can I be something more? I guess we can give this a tryout.
Excuse me, sorry about that. Forgot that was off. So yeah, that's the new character Blue Shift that is officially going to be the first speedster in the Rippaverse. And I like the suit. I like the look. I don't know about the name Blue Shift. Uh, yeah, I'm not too hot on the name Blue Shift. It just sounds funny. You understand what I'm saying? Blue Shift. Like that's the name we're really going with here. Blue Shift. I'm trying to say that name out loud. New speedster, Blue Shift. I don't know. Or Shift Blue. I don't know. Neither one of them sound all that good to me. They both sound funny. Uh, we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out when it comes to the Rippaverse. But I did find myself falling off. All the comic books I had, I actually sold. Didn't get nowhere near the money back that I was expecting to get for it. Maybe I would have been better off putting them on eBay. But I just didn't find myself all that I don't find myself all that interested. Um the speedster, I ain't gonna lie, does got me curious because I've actually found myself, interested in reading about speedsters. Uh like the Flash, Barry Allen, because of the Flash TV show with Grant Gustin. I remember when I first saw the trailer, I wasn't all that interested at all. And I didn't really watch the show until the first season came out on Netflix, and then I binge watched it. By the time I finished watching it, I think season two is already dropping. Now, obviously this is a different character, and it looks like obviously his parents knows he's a speedster. He has both his parents in his life, which is very different because a lot of times when you watch a lot of these shows, the parents are there, and maybe they have one parent, but they don't know they got powers. So to have both your parents in the story is really cool. And like I said, I do like the look. The logo is interesting. Not really a big fan of the name, but you know, how many of the same names can you use? So obviously, uh, you know, Eric Slayer has had to, kind of switch a little bit, when it comes to the names. But I was sitting here thinking to myself, if I ever get interested in reading about the comic books or ever want the comic books that I had before back, I'll just go to eBay and probably get them for cheap. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But anybody coming in, man, please hit the like button. If y'all don't know, of course, I had to redo the stream. I had some jackass coming here with some bullshit. It was my fault, a rookie mistake, that I shouldn't have let the jackass in. So, they said they were going to report the stream. I actually just had to delete it and restart. So, fuck it. It is what it is, man. Your boy is back. Hopefully, pray to God that, nothing's happened to my channel, nothing will happen to my channel. Instead of trying to grow this thing day in and day out, and just try to grow. It's been very hard because obviously my watch hours and everything have been dropping, but this is something I have fun doing, something to keep going. So I was just talking about the Marvel and DC side of things and just how superhero movies aren't what they used to be. Like I said, you got to Avengers Endgame, before you got past Avengers Endgame, there was a lot of people who were really excited about what Marvel was bringing to the table, and now it's just like the excitement isn't there. And then, of course, with the DC side, the DCU was a jumbled up mess because the powers to be, I believe, had no idea what they're doing. And I think we could have had one of the greatest Batman trilogy movies of that era with Ben Affleck if they knew what they were doing. This is why I kept saying they need to hire somebody, excuse me, they need to hire somebody like a Kevin Feige to run the DCEU. And the new owner did it with James Gunn. Did not like the new Superman film at all. Uh, go back and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, the trailer looked cool, but the movie just wasn't my cup of tea. It was too goofy, too stupid. And I know that James Gunn has come out and said when it comes to future projects, everything is going to have its own flavor. So the next thing coming out, obviously we got Peacemaker as raunchy. I don't know what Supergirl is going to be just based off her intro. And then, of course, you have Lanterns, which I'm actually looking forward to. And then you have Clayface, which I'm not looking forward to, which I believe is going to be a horror film. So, James Gunn is trying to mix it up and bring some different flavor to different things, which I think is a good idea because that's one thing that Marvel needs to do. I feel like Marvel uses the same formula for all their stuff, and it's got a lot of people who just kind of falling off the bandwagon. And, I want to see Marvel can get back to doing good. I don't think it'll ever be great like it was. I think one of the main things that currently going on with this phase six is the fact that they lack direction. They lack direction. Like I said, they had to pivot away from Jonathan Majors going into this new uh direction, going into Doctor Doom. And then obviously, with DC, we don't know who the big bad is, pulling all the strings. Um wouldn't surprise me if they probably go with a Brainiac or a Dark Side. I don't mind James Gunn kind of tweaking it and not following the Marvel formula straight out the gate, being like, okay, you get Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, like all the big heroes first. I'm okay with that. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. caught something a little stuffy. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly what James Gunn is going to bring to the table. But I'm jumping all over the place here. So hopefully it's going to be worth checking out in the future. But like I said, getting back to the Rippaverse a little bit, I've kind of I actually got both my foot outside the door when it comes to Rippaverse. The only thing I will kind of say I'm interested in going forward right now is the last thing I wanted was ISM 3. And as of right now, I'm kind of curious about the Speedster. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's only going to be in this Ripazine, which is uh, like a magazine where it talks all about the different characters. So I think it might be a short story. So I might have to go to the website and check that out. I know it's got like a huge statue out. I know they got a new toy out, but the toy is gonna be like $80 or some other stuff like that. So yeah, definitely not coming out of pocket for any of that stuff. Excuse me if I sound funny. So like I said, anybody that I'm familiar with here on the stream, definitely if you want to jump in, man. But like I said, other than that, I just want to let anybody in, man. Because like I said, I mean, I fucked up, let somebody in, and that jackass definitely has some bullshit here on the stream. So I definitely will be doing that again. Anyway, like I said, just here chilling, talking about movies. I still gotta see the Fantastic Four First Steps. I know that's been a mixed bag. I know it didn't get the money I guess people were expecting it to make, which is pretty crazy. But I guess when it comes to the Fantastic Four films, they've never been big when it comes to the fan base. Because you look at the one that came out in 2015, never saw it. I actually planned on watching it one day, and I just said, "Screw it, no point in watching it." And it just never, it didn't get no better after that. It didn't pick up. And then before that, you had the early 2000 films between 2000 and what 7 and 8 or whatever year they came out. I saw them both. The first one was cool. I didn't really care for the second one though. I thought it was way too short, and I thought it could have been longer. So I thought it could have been longer. So we'll have to just wait and see what the future holds. Anyway, we just have to wait and see. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. So like I said, back to the Rippaverse. Main thing I'm looking forward to is who this new Speedster is. The last thing I was looking forward to was ISM 3. Honestly, did it deliver? Not really. Not in my opinion. It didn't really deliver because I don't think we even figured out what the hell ISM's powers were outside him having strength. You know what I'm saying? So it's like almost like a guessing game. You have to kind of figure out. So it is what it is. But like I said, the new Speedster, Blue Shift or Shift, whatever. That's about the only one I'm really interested in. I think I saw the trailer. No, I didn't. I saw some of the new trailer for the Horseman that he dropped, and yeah, I don't really care for that character right now. Maybe eventually, but not right now. So you know, both my feet are outside the Riververse sandbox right now, but the new Speedster has got me curious. Once I know more about it, then I'll probably jump on it. As far as anything outside of that, like I said, Marvel wise, nothing really interested me right now. DC wise, nothing really interested me right now. So it's just like I said, superhero movies aren't what they used to be. And another thing, and this is my personal opinion, movie theaters, man. Like I have not gone to movie theaters a whole lot. I can't remember what the last movie I saw in theaters was. I think it was Superman. But it's like I don't really like the idea with the fact that movies aren't staying in theaters like they used to. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're getting pulled out left and right. So, it sucks, but it's just the world we live in where streaming is king nowadays. I would still rather go sit in the theater with a big old thing of popcorn and watch a movie in theaters. But anyway, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna hold this stream. Appreciate anybody that been dropping in. So, like I said, movies just ain't what they used to be, and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed, hope for the best. And like I said, one of the biggest things when it comes to DC Marvel is the fact that I feel like they lack direction. Even though they got Phase 6 going for it and going towards um, Avengers Doomsday, it's like, they had to pivot away from Kang. And so it feels like you kind of got two directions mixed up. One where it's going towards Kang, and then they officially ended in Loki season 2, and now one where it's going towards uh, you know, Doomsday. And so it is what it is, man. I just hope for the best when it comes to both, excuse me, Marvel and DC. I want to see them do great. I want to see them be awesome. I don't think Marvel will ever reach the heights it used to reach. It reached before Avengers Endgame. Even if you throw the X-Men in there, because we'll see how it turns out. So we'll see how it turns out. But anyway, just a couple more minutes, and then I'll just go ahead and call it a night. Appreciate anybody who's been watching. Actually, I think I'm just going to call it a night in a minute, maybe like less than 30 seconds. Appreciate anybody who's been watching. So yeah, I'm out.